Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Morris. I'm co-director of Writing on the Wall, an arts organisation based in Liverpool, this year celebrating our 21st anniversary. Welcome to the Writer's Block. This is an online writing centre that we set up during the pandemic to support people through community and creativity. As part of the Writer's Block, we have a writer on the block, a writer in residence. We've had a whole host of fantastic writers over the last 6 months, including Yvonne Battle-Felton, Anthony Anaxagoro, Cash Caraway, and others. And you can find details of all of that on our website, and I'll give you the details of that later. Our writer in residence, our writer on the block this time, we're delighted to say, is the award-winning writer, scriptwriter, and theatre maker, Kevin Dyer. This is the first time that we've had a theatre maker on the writer's block, and it's been a huge success. And we're delighted to welcome him tonight to his last block social, and we're sad to see that it is also his last block social, because he's going to be given his creative response to the residency, and then we're going to be having a chat about that later. And we're also going to be having a creative kind of responses to the residency from a bunch of other writers, and they're going to be reading their scripts along with some of our staff who are going to be helping them out, and with Kevin too. And they are Alison Stanley, Alina Ross, Dan Horrigan, and Rob Bateman. So we're looking forward to their debut as part of the writer's block as well. And this is what it's all about, is not just getting people to listen and to watch, but to get them actually online and get their work out there and published. So hello, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great to have you here. How's it been for you so far?
I've had a blast. It's been great. I've had a fantastic time, and thank you to you and your organisation for your hospitality.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome, mate, and it's been brilliant having you here, and really lovely to meet you, and I really enjoyed chatting to you when we had the introduction. So as part of the Writers on the Block residency, we ask everybody to develop a creative response, and so I'm going to ask you if you're ready to give us yours. Would that be okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to read it because I'm not a poet or a prose writer, but hopefully some other people are going to read it for me.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Like,
so here we go. I'm going to read the stage directions. I'm reading the stage directions for a number of the pieces, but I won't read all of them. I won't read tiny ones. I will only read any stage directions that seem to be important for the setting or the plot. Bit of background information. It says on the top of the script, Jen and Toby, 2 students, and it's outside the front doors of college. Jen is waiting and Toby comes out.
Hello, Bay.
Anything you want to tell me?
Crisis. Full-on crisis. Lost my frigging phone. Must have dropped it getting on the bus. I'm so...
Yeah, I wondered why you hadn't called.
I checked my bag a million times. All my pockets. I've been back to the bus stop. Just going to do the lost property thing. Right, later.
I've got your phone, dummy.
Oh, hear that? Oh, that's a relief. You are tops. Where was it?
My flat by the bread bin.
Oh, hey. I was so rushing when I left. I didn't want to leave you. Then got here and no phone. And geez, I wanted to call you just to say last night, amazing. There are other words in that sentence, but none of them matter. Thanks, Bay.
Let me repeat. Anything you want to tell me?
Yeah, phone found. You gorgeous. End of.
I got your bank card too, airhead.
Jesus. Bang.
So 1, I'm not your mum.
No.
The card was by the bread bin too.
Of course. I remember now.
And 2, I know your PIN. So if I wanted, I could have taken a stash out of your account, chucked the card, and you never would have known it was me.
How do you...
Because I've seen you getting cash out of the machine 100 times. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what primary school kids make up, Dimo.
Yeah, of course. I'll change it.
And 6-digit PIN on your phone. Just add 5, 6, I guess that.
What are you, MI5 or something?
So, got anything else you want to tell me?
Yeah, you are the world's best kisser, and
I had a little peep, I'm afraid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then photos. Scroll up 3 days. Who's this?
I don't know.
Liar. This photo appears in your messages and the name is there, not just the number. So it's not some spam because you've put the name in.
All right.
Well,
Can we go somewhere else?
to the bridge so I can throw you off and watch you float away dead.
Jen,
Don't gen me. What's her name?
just give me the phone, eh?
Name?
You know her fucking name.
Have you
What?
been fucking her then?
No.
So why is it a fucking name?
It's not my fault.
That's my boyfriend. Has this picture on his phone, not his fault.
Don't get mad at me.
Well, who will I get mad at? I know, me, for believing anything that you ever said.
Okay. Paula Parsons. Stupid name, I know. Girl from primary school. She was ugly, smelly one, who everyone laughed at. I hardly knew her. I think I used to tease her, you know, having a laugh as kids do. That's the end of it. I've never been out with...
I didn't ask if you had.
I'd never kissed her or anything.
Only you've got a photo on your phone.
It's just a silly photo.
Only the 6 more.
I don't keep them. They're just in messages. They'll get deleted.
Apart from this one, which you moved across to your photo library.
That's not me. That's WhatsApp. It does that sometimes.
Liar. You could have deleted them.
Yeah. Give it here. I will now.
So you haven't looked at them then?
I don't want them. Honest.
But all her messages were opened. The ones with text, the ones with photos.
Wasn't my fault.
Here she is. Photo 1. Shoes, jeans, coat, scarf, hat.
Can't we just...
And then everyone asks you, and then after everyone, she asks you, like, if you want the next one.
What is it?
So, number 2, no hat, shoes. One more layer off, she asks, and you say,
It's just chatting. I was just messing.
picture 4, down to her underwear. She's certainly not the ugly, smelly kid from primary school anymore, is she?
Look back at the messages. I didn't contact her. She contacted me. She turned up on my phone out of the blue. A bit of chat. I thought, that's fine. Just chat about the old days. And then she...
And then she asks if you want a photo of her.
Yeah,
Did that seem normal?
not abnormal.
So when she says,
What was I supposed to say? What would you say if...
no, don't turn it to me. Here's my phone. Look at the times. 3 minutes after this last photo of her, the one you saved, you sent me 5 hearts, 5 red roses. And what's this? Oh, it's an emoji of a nose, but it looks a bit like a...
I know what it looks like.
Have you got no morals? You see photos of her, feel horny, and then you ask me if I want to come round to shag.
Hold on. What about the morals of going through my phone?
You forgot it. You have an infantile passcode. You have photos of a woman stripping.
Woman. Just one woman.
I think that I can do whatever I like. All I was doing was looking for the photos of last night. Me, you, candlelit selfies, Indian takeaway, romantic bottle of rosé. I was going to delete any I didn't like the look of.
You look beautiful in all of them.
How do you know? Because you haven't had your phone to check, have you? You left it, remember? And no, I don't look beautiful. There's one with my eyes half shut and prawn korma down the chin. Was photos, because all of the ones of me I've deleted. All of them. Every photo that had me in. I'm not having me in the same phone as Polly Perkins and her perfect tits.
They're not perfect.
Aren't they? What's wrong with them?
They're not as good as yours.
Oh, so you're comparing now? Now you've had a good look. What about her legs? Are they better or worse than mine?
Worse.
I don't want to be compared.
I don't need to compare. You're extra, Jen. Do you hear me? She asked me if I wanted a photograph. That's all. End of. It's like if someone comes up to you and asks if you want to buy some gear, it doesn't mean you're guilty.
Unless you say yes, because I'd love some. Show me what you've got and I'll buy it. Bad example, mate.
Yeah, you're right. I should have told her to stay in lane, but I was being polite.
Telling her she's fire and that breasts are better than Lara Croft's is more than being polite.
She's got makeup on. She's trying. I can't just say.
Oh, so when she says, do you want to see my tits?
When she was a kid, I bullied her. So I didn't want to.
Oh, you didn't want to upset her. Very considerate. Of course you couldn't have said, when you were a girl, I objectified you, and now I have a pool of guilt inside me, so I don't want to objectify you as a grown woman too.
How savage, Jen. I'm just a bloke. If someone said to you, do you want to...
I'd block them, and I'd definitely tell you. Yes, I'd tell my boyfriend that I was getting creepy messages from a weirdo.
I don't think she's a weirdo.
But I must be, to be still talking to you. Look, you said nice to her, nice tits, because they are nice tits. Better than your girlfriend's flat little useless tits.
You don't have...
I don't need your affirmations, thank you.
Heard. Babe, heard.
So what do I do, Tobes? Just let it go because you're being kind to a woman suffering from childhood low self-esteem issues?
Yeah, move on.
Why didn't you say, I've got a girlfriend and we've talked about getting engaged and having babies? Instead, you just say flirty shit to a woman in a thong thing thinner than a pencil line and, please, Polly, send me the next one. So she does. Yesterday afternoon. Look, she is naked on my boyfriend's phone. Naked. Naked. Hi, Toby. How do I look now?
She isn't naked. She has socks on.
Oh, stick your phone up your arse, mate. And the bank card? Yeah, the balance was £673, and you can only take out £250 a day. So I had to make do with that in cash. And then I spent £200 on Amazon, and then I bought a huge shopping delivery and a new bag. Thanks for that. Oh, and by the way, on your phone, yeah, I've deleted my number. And I've sent a message to Polly Perkins saying, I, Toby, have bad breath and a very small penis. So it's probably best to forget about me. Okay?
Well read, actors. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. So just to explain to everybody, we're going to read 4 pieces, and if we've got time at the end, we'll see if we've got time for Mike to give us a few questions.
Okay, that was very, very good. I really enjoyed that. Just on that, do you want to discuss any of that, or do you want to save that for later? We were going to talk about the residency in general. It's up to you. Okay, so in that piece there, was Jen really just looking for photos from the romantic night out, do you think, or was a bit more going on there? Not to throw that on her, but and also the kind of bullying thing with the lad. What was that a new piece that was inspired as a result of the residency?
It's a new piece I've written really quickly. It in fact came from at the same time, I've been working on a piece called The Table Tennis Years, talking to lads and their dads. And this was a tiny fragment of a story came out of an actor from UCLAM, a drama actor. And I asked the young people there, what are the things that you ever got in trouble with your dad? And one of them just sort of shrugged and went, you know, when your parents find something on your phone. So I just dug away a little bit at that, and he said, well, he said, and I pushed a bit further, and eventually the 4-letter porn word came out. And so that it was about his parents finding porn on his phone. And I just thought, because I'm trying to write some pieces for young performers, I thought it would be much better to have it not about parents, but about a boyfriend and girlfriend, and she finds stuff on his phone. I don't know the history of the relationship. I know very little of it, but I know if actors were doing this, they'd ask all those questions like you've just asked.
Yeah, I liked it in the sense that every kind of stage and every line of dialogue reveals something else. It kind of steps it up another level, really, of intrigue, but also in terms of the kind of interplay between the two of them.
Well, I don't know whether that's true or not, really, because I can't see it anymore, can I? I think that's what happens when we write things. Eventually we have to just pass it out to people for them to make a judgment on it, because we do get a bit blind, don't we, of our own work. So
do you find, I mean, that's an interesting point, really, when you're writing something, you live it, you're so immersed in it, and every single thing feels, kind of intrinsically a part of you. But once you've written it and handed it over, and after maybe the discussions in the preparation for the performance, once you see something performed, you feel something almost like, well, outside of you now, that you can have an objective view on it.
Well, I always say to playwrights that if they've got a play on, they should go and see it more than once, because the first time you go, there's just so much emotion inside you. All those feelings of, will people like it? Am I any good? Should I ever have written it in the first place? It's like we have to get that all out the way, and then we can sort of sit there a bit more subjectively maybe and look at it. But I think it is, once you've passed it over, you've passed it over, haven't you? So it's sort of not yours anymore, is it?
Well, no, it isn't in that sense, is it? And the thing in terms of I suppose as well, it's a learning curve, because I think this came up in one of the the socials that you've done over the past couple of weeks, about how do you know what works, and it strikes me that sometimes some people talked about dialogue, and some people talked about humor, or a satisfying ending, for example. And obviously the debates about what do people mean by a satisfying ending from the point of view of the writer. That in some ways you're really only going to know when you see it performed in front of an audience.
Well, I'd say yes and no to that. I think you do learn an awful lot once it goes out there, and you can watch people responding to it. But I know sometimes an actor will come off a stage and go, oh, it's terrible tonight, they hated me. And with my director's hat, I've said, no, it's exactly the same performance as last night, but you just had an audience who responded to it in a different way. We know this. Some of us laugh at jokes, and some of us laugh internally at jokes. If they're a stand-up comedian, they probably want laugh out loud jokes. But we don't always know what people are feeling and thinking with their work. So oddly enough, we have to listen and look at the audience, but we sort of have to be satisfied ourselves at some point. If you're never satisfied with it yourself on your own terms, then it can get a bit messy, I think.
I'd agree. I think that is an important point, because I think you do have to, you are the authorial voice in the end. You're the person who is trying to make something. If you try and make something to please everybody, then you're going to fail. Because I think one of the beauties of theatre compared to a lot of other art forms is that the thing that can, even if the actors give the same performance, exactly the same lines every night, the one thing that changes, hopefully every night, if it's got to run, is a different audience. And even if that same, to continue this tortuous analogy really, but even if that same audience turns up the same every night, they've had a different day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the response, and that's kind of what makes it so exciting, can make it seem so kind of, real with theatre.
A lot of it's about context, isn't it, as well? Like if a young bloke came to see this play, he will be watching it and living it probably differently to a young woman. And if it's a young woman who's had any of this stuff happen to her, she isn't going to laugh at the jokes, probably not. So it all depends how close the drama is to your own life. That affects as well, doesn't it? How people respond to stuff.
And just on that piece, everything that was read there, is that all that is for the moment? Is there any more script that wasn't read there?
I've been asked to write 10 5-minute plays by a theatre company. And they're 5-minute plays to be performed by young people, young performers from 18 to 22. So that was sort of in my head while I was doing this creative response. So it's one of a family of plays, or a collection of plays, that I think together will make like a gallery or an exhibition of what it's like to be between 18 and 22 in Britain today. I think that's where I'm heading with this one. I don't think it's any longer.
Yeah.
I'd hope people would have a conversation about it afterwards, but it only exists beyond those last words in the conversation the audience have in their heads or with their mates.
And I mean, you're obviously a very experienced playwright, and you just described something there whereby, you are, you're researching, you're having conversations with people, you're taking part in this residency, you kind of, from those conversations, you begin to pick away at something. And I'm kind of just, kind of exploring that process, this piece particularly maybe, but in general of writing. A lot of things that in the conversations, and some of the ones I heard online as part of your residency, are they are going into various aspects of character study, but it's also a thing about how do you kind of, take an idea and just boom, run with it. Do you try and, are you somebody who every line you kind of, thinking through before you get down? Do you try and get something down and think, okay, I've really run with that idea. Now, now I'll dig into it. Do you work better with something on the page that you can then almost deconstruct and add to, if you like, to unpack, or is it a much more thoughtful process for you in that sense?
I get something down on the page when I write. I don't even write the character names. I don't bother with spelling or punctuation. It's just a mass, because I just try and get myself in the zone of the characters and live in that moment, live in this 4.5 minutes, if you like. And then later on, I'll go back and people say to me, what's your job? I said, well, I move commas around a lot. I think that's what we do. But poets are even worse, aren't they? All the time, moving a bit of punctuation, moving. Is it this word first? Is it that word first?
Yeah.
What word's at the end of the sentence? Do I need this line? Is that the right word? Would she use that word? And, what we've done tonight, it's just a first draft, as I hear it, I'm going, oh, what needs to happen next?
On the residency, you've taken part in, the block socials, questions like what should we write, or finding the question, an enterprise hub event on making a living, and an open house as well with people. How's that been for you, and what's your reflections on this process of taking part in these events? I'm sure you've done other residencies. I'm not sure how many online, and maybe structured similar or different. I don't know the way that we do. But how's it work for you? Do you think it's been productive for you and for the people who've taken part? And in which way do you think?
I don't know whether it's been productive for the people who've taken part. It has been for me. I think, one, because it's like I gave 2 workshops on things I've never given workshops before. So I had to do some homework and I had to do some thinking about one about structure in particular. And I thought, actually, I talk about structure and think about structure all the time, but the idea of running a workshop on it, I had to just drill down into my own practice and what I thought quite a lot. The other one is I've loved being with some lovely people. I think, at this time, I'm a writer, so I'm not like somebody who works in the supermarket who sees 1,000 people a day. Often I don't see anybody in a day, apart from my partner. And even then, she's busy, I'm busy. You cannot see each other sometimes for most of the day. So meeting a lot of people and talking about not only writing, but about their lives and what they feel has been really sort of invigorating for me. And I've enjoyed their creativity and their generosity. That's been very fueling for me as a writer.
What I enjoyed about the workshops that you've done has been a couple of things. I mean, one is that, that you reiterate, during the workshops that everything you say may not be right, in the sense that you can bring a lot of experience, and that your contribution is backed up by the reality of the amount of work that you've done, the awards, all of those things. But you say what works for you won't necessarily work for anybody else, potentially. And we often talk about that thing about people finding their voice, and I think you reiterating that, I think, is a key part of that. And the other thing has been the way that you've run the workshops, which is there's been a lot of pauses where you said to people, okay, write in the comments box something in response to what I'm saying, and that helps to generate discussion and ideas. And also then saying, okay, we're going to pause for 15 minutes, which online actually, compared to being live in a room, is an interesting, different experience. But it's been about the idea of getting people, rather than you just, delivering to them a session or a lecture, if you like, on structure, for argument's sake, has been about them engaging in it. And I personally think I've enjoyed it. I think it's been really refreshing. And it seems to me from, what I've heard is people have really engaged in that, and it's sparked something in them as well.
That's good. That's great. That's great to hear. It's true. All I can do is try and articulate my own method. There are some things I really know them for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if people have other methods or other art forms, I try and be quite dogmatic sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to be a bit bossy, because if I can say something that's solid and clear, people can either go, yes, that's useful, or no, it isn't useful. And saying no, it isn't useful is also very useful.
Okay.
Like I know lots of directors that at the beginning of their rehearsal process, they do uniting. They go through every line of the play and they say, what does this line mean? What's really happening under this line? And I've seen directors do that, and it bores me to death. So me knowing that other directors do that and find it really useful is very interesting, but it makes me know that that's not how I want to run a rehearsal. And similarly, I hope some people have heard me talking stuff and saying, very nice, Kevin, but that's not how I want to do it. Thank you.
Sometimes the process of knowing what you want to do is find out what doesn't work for you as well. I kind of feel. We're going to move on, Kevin, because time is passing fairly quickly. But just want to ask you, is there anything you've learned as part of this that might help or inform you going forward? And in terms of anything that you think, as a final kind of word to our writing community in general, that you think might be useful for people that you could pass on? I mean, I don't want to be pithy about that, just one word or sentence, but any thoughts on that for yourself, and as your residency comes to an end here, that you think is useful for the people in general that you've worked with, and wider than that?
2 things, I think. One is that we are all creative. We live in a world where we're stopped being creative, but we are all creative. And we just have to find ways of allowing that creativity to happen. For some of us, it can be via writing and through writing. But there are other ways too, but we have to be creative or we're dead, I think. And the other one is the technical one. I'm really interested in the motivation of characters in stories. If your characters don't want anything, there is no play. So being all the time as a writer aware of what your character wants at every line, what they want. If you don't know what they want, if they're just having a chat, your line is useless.
And interesting when you said that when you try and get something down, you don't necessarily put the character names down, you're just getting it down, but you feel that, because I mean, you know, particularly reading like this online, we're following the character through the dialogue, and okay, we can see them, but they're making choices, aren't they, at every single stage?
They're trying to, often we're trying to make the other person do something. Like now, you are trying to get me to do something. You have an objective, don't you? That's what's driving every word you say. And that's how in life, it's the same. We want someone to go out with us, someone to sleep with us, someone to get out the room. We want them to feed us. We want them to stop talking. We always want people to do things. We want them to love us more. That's what happens all the time, every minute of the day.
You've hit on it. I want you to love me more. You've sussed me out. Okay, well, look, we've got a really exciting part coming up now, which is people who've taken part with you in the one-to-ones and who are going to share some of their work, which is really exciting. I want to say in advance to people, congratulations, A, for having the nerve to do this. Secondly, for sharing their work with us. We are very, very grateful that people participate in this. And this is really what it's all about. That, you know, we go from having a writer on the block to getting new writers who are getting their work out there. So I think Zach is now going to take me away, and I think you're going to be introducing the first one of these, Kevin, which is Alison Stanley.
Okay, so what's going to happen is, again, we're going to put up on the screen Alison's piece. I've got to know Alison a bit over the last few weeks. I love Alison and her writing. It's dynamic, full of heart, and full of real skill. So if Zach can put it on the screen, we'll have a read of it. Again, I'll do some of the stage directions, but hardly any. Alison, is there anything you want to say just to help us understand this scene?
Yeah, this is a piece from a play I wrote called The Life of Riley, which is about a young man who is autistic and who is looking back over his life. But it's really about the family dynamics and how they change and how each of the family members deal with their child's disability and how that affects them and the whole family as a unit. It's set in Newcastle upon Tyne, and it's a mixture of verbatim theatre and fictional reality. And also this section is between Riley's mum and dad, Joanne and Jed. Joanne has dealt with her son's diagnosis. This is not long after diagnosis, and she's dealt with it as his mum by finding out manically everything there is to know about it and worrying for his future. Dad, Jed, is in denial. This wasn't in his game plan, and autism just doesn't factor in his life, and it wasn't what he had planned for his son at all or their lives. And at this point, things are very fraught between the parents. He isn't really there for his family. He's very distant, and also at this point, he's kind of tentatively starting to think this may not go away. It may not. We may have to adapt. So this is where we are at this point in the play.
Okay, so readers, I hope you're ready. Joanne enters the living room. There are toys strewn over the floor and clothes draped over the furniture.
What are you reading?
This book.
No shit, Sherlock. I can see that. What book?
One of your things.
Yeah?
Yeah, one of your books about what Riley's got.
Autism, Jed. You can say it, you know.
Yeah, I know I can say it.
You don't though, do you?
So what? What do you mean by that?
Well, just what I say. You never say anything. You avoid the subject, won't talk about it.
Don't start, Joanne, all right?
I'm not. So what do you think?
About what?
Well, the book about Riley, about autism. What do you think, Jed?
I said don't start.
Oh, that's right. Just you bury your head in the sand like you always do. That's how you deal with things, isn't it? You just talk about it, don't mention it, it will all go away.
All right. Yeah, I do. Is that what you want me to hear? I wish it would all just go away. I've had enough.
You've had enough? What the hell do you mean you've had enough? Because I'll tell you something, Jed. I've had enough. I've had enough of this whole bloody thing to last me a lifetime. I've had enough of putting Riley in nappies. I've had enough of cleaning up shit when I don't. I've had enough of play therapists, speech therapists, health visitors, people looking daggers in the shops because Riley's screaming, people tutting and judging and not helping, people pitying me, pitying Riley. I've had more than enough of him not being invited to parties, not having any friends, people not trying to understand, people not knowing what we have to deal with. And I'm sick of dealing with all this crap on my own. I've had enough of you not being here. I've had enough of pretending it's all fine and it's not happening. But most of all, I've had enough of chicken bastard nuggets, all right?
Shh. It's going to be okay. I'm so sorry, Annie. I didn't mean to make you sad. I wanted to help you and Riley. I really did.
I know, Jed. I know.
We were happy once, weren't we?
Yes, we were. And we still can be. We've just got to accept that things are different.
Sometimes I look at him and I think, the hell is wrong with this kid? And is he always going to be so bloody annoying? Do you think that's awful? It is, isn't it? I know it is. What kind of father thinks that? I'm useless.
No, you're not. You're a great dad. It's just your way of coping.
He exhausts me, you know. He frustrates me. He bloody well scares the shit out of me.
I'm not alone, Jed. Read the books. Come with me to the sessions. See what Riley can do, not what he can't. Oh, he's coming on so much. He's writing and he loves books.
I can't, Joanne. I just can't. I wanted to watch him grow. Watch him become a man. I'm sad, Annie. I'm so sad. I'm grieving for the man that I wanted my son to be. This happens to other people, Annie. I didn't ask for this.
What? And I did I? Jed, things might not be the way we would like them to be, and we might not be following your grand plan and being parents to England's next star player. But we are parents to Riley. And Riley is the sweetest, most loving little boy, and I'm proud he's our son. I'm proud of every little step he takes, of every new thing he learns or tries, and I'm proud for his parents. He makes me proud every day. And now it's your turn, Jed. It's time to man up, grow a pair, and make us proud of you. Be the father and the husband we need you to be, Jed, and make us proud of you. Be the father the kids need and the husband I need. When was the last time you actually talked to me? Asked about my day, how I feel, how I'm coping? When was the last time you touched me, Jed? Looked at me like a woman? I'm still me, Jed. I'm Joanne. You're Annie. And I need you. I just need you so much, Jed. I really need you.
I can't. I just can't.
Great. Well read. Well read.
Thank you.
Really nice piece of writing.
Thank you.
Whew, it's great. I think, Alison, so Mike tells me we're going to read through them all and see if we've got some time at the end to have a conversation.
Okay.
Great, plumbing, great stuff there. I think next where we're going is, I'm going to look at my notes here because I'm sorry, I was so wound up in that little dilemma, huge dilemma between the couple. I don't know what we're doing next. I'm going to have to look. Oh, we're going to Alina's piece now. Oh, this is great. Here we are into another world now. The great conversation with Alina in the middle of the week about her work. Here we go then. Let's put the script on the screen. And Alina, do you want to say anything about it before that happens? Oh, here we are. Good. Just tell us about it. Anything you need to let us know so we understand it.
Not much, honestly, because I don't know if I fully understand it. So. But it's from a longer piece called Before I Talk to Shoes. And at the moment, anyway, it's set during the pandemic. It might not be when it's done after conversation with Kevin, especially. And it's just two people, Rose and Danny, in their home. They're partners. They're not married. And that's all I have to say.
But there are 4 characters in the piece, aren't there? Or is that debatable that there are 4 characters in the piece?
It's debatable.
4 voices in the piece, aren't there?
Yes.
Great, here we go then. Scene 3. It's afternoon, the weekend, windows open. Rose is in bed. Danny is on his laptop next to her.
I mean, this happens to you, right? Danny, right? Hear it? The voices? Do you? Do you hear them? A woman and a man. They're talking about a nest, building it, raising the young. Do you hear it? Can you hear it? Oh, I didn't realize you had your headphones on. Oh, how stupid, stupid, stupid Rose. Always talking when his headphones are on. I wonder if they're noise canceling. Because, well, mine are, and I can still hear. Never mind. Danny, I slept with Sam that time. That time you wondered about. I did. I still feel bad about it, if you want to know. But I'm a good person, in general. I think I am. Fuck, but there they go again. She says, where should we live so that it's safe? And he says, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't say fucking. I added that for emphasis because I think he should have. He says it doesn't matter. I just want to, wait, does he say raise them or praise you or glaze you? Not clear, not clear. We were a bit new then. So it was, well, we weren't fully on yet, you know? I know you didn't see it that way. Doesn't matter now, does it? Nothing much matters. I wonder if I screamed, if I was bleeding, or no, if I was quietly dying, quietly. If I was having a fucking heart attack or something, would you hear me?
We'd hear you.
But we do nothing.
I wasn't talking to you, whoever you are. Wait, who are you?
Outside. Come to the window.
Nobody. That's in my head, naturally. Shit, the wasps are at it again. I can hear them. Every summer, they attack. Have to call the bee man.
Bitch.
Yeah, we'd let you die.
Excuse me? If you'd only stop attacking, like for 1 minute, like fucking stop coming for me every time I'm outside and trying to eat this hunk of meat, this hunk of flesh I've hunted.
At the grocery store.
And Instacart, actually. Not going in anywhere where humans are. Listen, if you just let me live in peace and not buzz your muzzle in my face like a bully, we'd not be having this conversation.
And if you'd stop eating the, hunk of meat, you probably wouldn't be losing your mind or stay locked in your home.
Sorry. I'm not losing my mind.
She is.
You are. And you know what? You all are. And it's about time. Take a fucking break. Let the world be.
Come on, Daddy-O. We've got young to make.
Oh, yeah.
I always knew you were mean. You are mean. Wait, don't go. Where are you? You can't make young in my house. It's my house.
Relax, honey. It won't be long. Be out of here before you know it.
No, stay. I mean, what do I mean? What's wrong with me?
Hey, babe, can you close the window? You're letting the AC out.
End of scene. Great. I love it how different that piece is to the one before. I just love it. And the one before is to this one. Okay, we're now going to go straight on to the next piece. And this is Dan who read the last line there. Thank you, Alina, for that. Thank you very much. Dan, do you want to give us a little word that we might need before we get into your piece?
Sure, it's a dystopian world where there's people are segregated according to the purpose they need to keep society running. So there's a boy or a youth, well, he's a man of 24. He's escaped from a factory where he's spent his entire life building the world for other people. And there's a young woman of 19 called Huldra, who is being educated at a school to become a wife for people who, well, for supervisors and people of rank who work at the factory. And they're both on the run and they're both being hunted. And it's a world where there's very little distance between life and death.
Scene 6, the lake, late at night. The youth and Huldra sat together, eating. He stands to skim a stone, laughing as they go.
Do you want to kiss me?
What's a kiss?
We put our lips together.
We better not.
I've only kissed girls.
No,
Why not? Am I ugly?
my lips would poison you.
They wouldn't.
Too much factory in my blood.
The factory can't taint me.
Maybe the youth could kiss you tomorrow.
You're teasing me.
Got a heart racing for you, but one of us wouldn't survive it.
Are you high?
I?
Have you taken something?
You mean speed?
What speed?
Total well-done pounding, grinding current of electricity brain killer.
We call them cognizant.
They give it us to keep us working.
Xants are gentler. They help you write.
Been on it forever, but it never made me feel this.
Feel what?
You must know.
Look, I have some.
She takes out a pill case from her pocket. She selects 2 pills and shows them to him.
They ain't like what we're given.
Let's take one.
Are you sure?
It'll be all right.
Will it?
Who knows, but who knows what we'll find out.
What do you want to find?
The heart.
It's all around us.
I want it to open.
So do I.
Then take a Xant. We'll make a pact.
Can't risk it.
Why not?
The youth sees things he doesn't know how to stop.
Xants don't do total brain killer. Trust me. I want us to do this.
She gives him a pill. They hold them in their hands. She goes first. He is reluctant. She takes his pill, pinches his nose, and throws it down his throat.
Ask me what it's like to be me now, right now.
All right. How do you feel? Here, right now.
Like our garden never got desecrated.
Kiss me. I don't care if you're riddled with the factory.
Tomorrow, the day after, one day, but not today.
You're an idiot.
Have you ever felt as if your spirit leaves your body to look down, sees all this mad creation, a desecrated earth, what we've done to our garden, only it's a picture of peace, no struggle, no brutality. Spirit returns to the body, feels the sensations of life. The 2 thrum, body and spirit, you begin to shake. There's a beautiful feeling that helps you trust yourself.
You know what it means to be alive.
That's what he's scared of.
Don't look away.
We have to hold on.
It's dangerous, but I'm here.
Why?
For you.
Do you really mean that?
Do you believe we can return to innocence?
Maybe, if you ever had it.
I have to choose, Stu, to stay or go back.
World is made for people like you, so why not be in it?
I failed an exam. They're going to make me the wife of a senior supervisor.
That's why you ran away.
Do you think it's childish?
The wife of a supervisor would never set foot in the factory.
Sometimes they come back, those who went to be wives. They talk of the privilege and honour. But I see a shadow. They're all pinched and sour looking. The husbands hold on to them like they're criminals. If they ever let go, the women look lost and afraid. They look at us with barely concealed contempt, or perhaps envy.
Because they aren't by the lake surrounded by wheat on a zant.
I won't be the wife of a man I've never met.
It wouldn't be easy.
We're both slaves.
The wheat looks different, doesn't it?
Yes.
We're different.
Are we?
We shared something that has changed us.
How have we changed?
We understand each other.
It's working. You're feeling it.
If the pills kill us now, it won't be so bad.
Do you think about death often?
It's under the sun. You can't escape it. Got to respect it.
For the way it happens, or for what it is?
Death is powerful. Pulls us into places not even love can. You can be at peace with the world, but you have to be ready.
I'm not.
So stay in the forest.
You've been around death. I can see that.
Around it now. You see that?
What do you mean?
You said you weren't going back. You'll have to die, same as me.
You make it sound like fate.
We'll do it together, our way, not theirs.
Can you promise that?
The world has worse to offer.
We'll die together then.
Promise?
Promise.
Then he'll be true as you.
And I'll stay until the end.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. So there we are, 3 plays, 3 entirely different worlds. And now we're on to number 4, which is a bit different. It doesn't have a whole gang of actors. This is by Rob Bateman, and Rob's going to read this himself. Do you need to say anything before it starts, Rob, or do we just pick it up as we go through?
Yeah, I could just introduce it, so, if I might.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a modern Gothic tale. The character he's looking for his sister. His sister's lost, and the police, they don't do anything, and he conducts his own investigation. And he tries to track her trace where she was last traced in London, and then he ends up going to Romania to where her boyfriend lives, and he goes to a village and he discovers this bridge called the Bridge of Lies. This piece is at the end of the play, and it's a voiceover, and it's from the psychiatrist. Tom is one of my most interesting and complex cases. He has been dealing with the loss of his sister, Sophie, for many years now. The patient case history refers to a tragic event at the family home. A neighbour had seen Tom beating a young girl in the garden. The ambulance crew didn't arrive for 25 minutes or more, but the police had arrived very quickly by chance, it seems. The neighbour, who knew Tom well, in fact it was Tom's old piano teacher, had called the police. It was Tom's sister, Sophie, that lay motionless. She lay face down on the grass as he pounded her back. I can only make the assumption, a reasonable one, however, that the police perceived it as an assault. an attack. So the young policeman pounced on Tom, fought and grappled with him. Tom was apparently raging. Tom clean broke the policeman's nose, and as his nose bled, Sophie, all the while her face down, her dress was covered in the blood from the policeman. Now, this event is a repeated flashback for Tom in times of stress. As far as I can ascertain from the records, the inquest recounted how the second officer had then taken control and restrained Tom. All the time, Tom was unable to communicate that Sophie was in fact choking. Tom was trying to save his sister's life. They had been horsing around, and apparently she had swallowed and choked on the stone of a peach as she lay on her back, laughing. I cannot know, of course, but the coroner concluded that it was more than likely that she was already dead some minutes before the ambulance arrived. Tom, fitted after the incident, remained under observation and was sedated for many months. Of course, it's not uncommon for trauma and indeed a tragedy like this to trigger an illness of Tom's kind. However, during the course of my extensive treatment and study of Thomas O'Connor, I can quite conclusively state that Tom had a predisposition, a susceptibility to his condition and schizophrenia. He has, up until recently, been taking the antipsychotic drug ziprazidone. I am currently reviewing a change to his medication, which may require hospitalization to monitor him more closely. Now, the light sensitivity that he has developed contributes to his condition, which is a key trigger for stress and episodes of mania. Curiously, he has developed a habit of intervention into public occurrences and some minor incidences, well, almost always involving the police. The Metropolitan Police regard Tom as a nuisance, and he has received numerous cautions. Could you scroll up, because I can't quite see the rest of the script. Thank you. He's received numerous cautions and a restraining order against him. Tom has developed what I can only describe as a sense of acute empathy. He feels the pain of others. But this is understandably misconstrued through his actions, which often manifest in elaborate reasoning, all very real to Tom, of course. Tom developed porphyria after the fit, again a latent condition. He developed sores on his body and light sensitivity, which is typical of the disease. I would say that Tom developed acute manifestations and delusions, rather, commonplace in schizophrenia, triggered by the incident and the death of his sister.
Well done, Rob. Well read, well written, well researched. Research, plot, character, and a whole new world for us. Fantastic stuff. Now, I think Mike's in charge of this session, really, more than me. I wonder what Mike's going to say we have time to do now, if anything.
Well, I think unfortunately we're kind of out of time because it is 6 o'clock. and the session was scheduled to run to them. But I think what we'll try and do maybe later is pick up with the writers. But I just want to acknowledge that it is a Friday night, and for people who've tuned in, we have come to the 6 o'clock. But what I do want to say to the writers is, I feel really privileged listening to that work. Very, very varied between each piece, but all really well written, and really do the job which they need to do, which is to make you want to know more about what's happening and want to know what the end is. And I don't know how far on the people are with their work, but obviously we would urge them to work on really, and we will try and do what we can to offer support going forward in doing that, and also to try and offer advice or pathways to see if they can get the work on. One of the things that you said, Kevin, as part of the residency, I think it might have been when we were first discussing at the introduction, was that if you write a play, do your best to get that play on. Get it out there. What would you say to the people who've read tonight? I was incredibly impressed by the stand-up there.
I'd like to see all of them. I really would. Just would. I'd love to see them all.
Playwrights aren't naturally necessarily producers, are they?
No, we've got a shortage of theatres. We've got a shortage of producers, a glut of great plays. But in the end, do what you can. Set up your own company. Make some contacts.
We don't have a shortage of rooms. We don't have a shortage of people who'd be prepared to even do a little script and hand reading.
That's right. That's right.
Doesn't always have to be complex, does it, in a sense?
No, because for me, I didn't miss any theatres when I was hearing those pieces. I didn't miss. I couldn't go to the Liverpool Everyman or the London Palladium or the Playhouse or anything. I was just really glad to be there in that space, listening to those pieces of work. There are other times when I want to go to live theatre, but to be honest, for the last half hour, I was really happy to be where I was.
Yeah, everything has its place, but the stage of where they are, it's been great to listen to them. But I think, the advice is find a way to finish it, find a way to get it on, because everything has to start somewhere, and I think one of the dangers is if you sit around waiting for somebody to pick that up, there are a million other plays out there, and it may not be down to your writing. It might just be down to pure luck or bad luck that you don't get picked up. But for your own satisfaction, I think I personally think that you have to kind of do something.
Because the reality is that all those producing theatres across the UK, they cancelled their seasons, if you like. They cancelled their programmes. And when they restart, they will be picking up on those programs that are already commissioned.
Mm.
So actually, there is a bit of a backlog, So
yeah.
If you wonder why people aren't replying to you, it's because they're not replying to another 20,000 people.
But the thing is, some of the best things I've seen have been upstairs in pubs, in back rooms, small venues.
I agree.
And some of those are the ones that stuck with me far more than the lavish productions that I've seen as well. So, congratulations to Rob, to Alina, to Alison, to Dan. A great achievement just taking part in this, and we wish you luck with them. But not just that, we'd love to obviously do what we can to support you as well. So, Kevin, I just want to say on behalf of Writing on the Wall, of all of our team, everyone who has worked with you, but also for all of the people that you've worked with, you've been incredibly generous with your time. You really, really have. And I know from the feedback that I've seen that people have really, really appreciated it and really benefited from it. And we as an organisation have benefited from it too. It's been a fabulous residency, and from the bottom of all of our hearts, a huge thank you. And we want to wish you all the very best, and don't be a stranger. Let us know what you do, and we'd love to offer any support that we can, but also we'd love to have you back at any time in any way that we can at Writing on the Wall.
Thank you.
Okay, well, congratulations to everybody. I want to say a huge thanks to our team, to our staff who are all actors and readers as well, Alice, and to Zach for taking part. But also for running tonight's events and doing all the tech behind it as well. It's been a real privilege to be with people tonight, and I hope that you feel the same. A couple of things just to finish with. Looking ahead, Writing on the Wall this year, we celebrate our 21st anniversary, and we have our 21st anniversary festival, which lasts right throughout May. Behind the scenes, we are developing a fantastic roster of writers, artists, and commentators to bring to you to celebrate a very special festival. And we hope that you'll join us in doing that. And if you go to our website, writingonthewall.org.uk, and sign up, you'll be one of the first to get to know what we're doing. You can also check us out on Twitter with the hashtag @WowFest. For the Writer's Block, we have a lot going on a regular basis. And as you know, with Kevin, we've had a writer on the block. And we welcome a writer on the block coming forward now to our next one. And we're delighted to welcome Vidisha, who's a journalist and writer who's written for many, many major publications. And she will be really our first dedicated journalist to the Writer's Block. Another great aspect of writing that we're really keen to explore. And so we'd invite everybody to have a look at the website, check out the Writer's Block and see what you can book in for. Again, it'll be one-to-ones, block socials, enterprise hub. We'll be going from the general kind of theme of writing, the skills of writing, right through to how do you make a living as a writer. And all of these are absolutely vital for us at the moment, vital for everybody really. But you know, you can't go wrong by developing your skills, and you can apply them in a variety of ways. And I'm sure Vidisha will be on hand to be able to offer advice and guidance for that as well. So a huge thank you to everyone who's taken part tonight. Once again, massive thank you to Kevin Dyer, and we look forward to seeing you at Writing on the Wall, hopefully at our festival, and also at the Writer's Block with Vidisha. I think her first event is on the 22nd of March. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you very much.